Okay, so I think the live has started. Okay, so for today, I had actually wanted to continue with the book Mina no Nihongo, but because my friend, she's not feeling very well today, so I think I have to do some other kinds of, uh, yeah, topic. So if anyone is listening or is tuning in to this live, if you have any questions or anything you want me to explain, you can write it in the chat. Okay? So while waiting for that, maybe I can just do a recap. Okay? So my first class with my friend, we did I explained to her about the differences between hiragana, katakana, katakana, and kanji. Okay, I just have to check. You know, it's hard to write kanji actually. We have sansui, and then one, two, three. No, we don't have three there. Sorry. One, two. Okay, kanji. Okay, can skip ahead. Uh, okay, so for first thing first, hiragana. It is used for words originated from Japan. Okay, originated from Japan itself. For example, in Japan, they have apples. Okay, they have apples. They grow apples here in Aomori, in Nagano. Okay, so they have the word apple in Japanese, which is ringo. Okay, ringo. Fruit. Okay, for example, they have ringo, which means apple. Okay, what else? Um, they have strawberries. Okay, they have strawberries in Japan, and they call it ichigo. Okay, ichigoto, strawberry. Okay, so you use hiragana. Okay, oh sorry, this is ringo and ichigoto. Okay, so for words that originates from Japan, a word that originates from Japan, we'll use hiragana when you write it. Okay, so this is ringo, ichigo using hiragana. Okay, next. Next, we have katakana. Okay, so when do you use katakana? It is when you when you want to write a word that originated from a foreign country, originated from outside of Japan, if I have to say so. From outside of Japan. Okay, for example, what don't they have here? We have apples, we have strawberries in Japan, but things that do not originate from Japan. Okay, we have one which is pineapple. Okay, pineapple, pineapple. Okay, they don't have it in Japan. Now maybe they do, maybe in Okinawa, maybe some kind of ways to make pineapples in Japan now. But back in the days, they have to import it from other countries. Okay, so they use katakana when they don't have the word originated from Japan. Okay, so pineapple, pineapple. Okay, yoi, pineapple. Okay, this is when they use katakana. Okay, another one in a fruit that Still now they don't have it in Japan, is durians. Okay, I don't know if you know durians, but in Malaysia, back in my country, durian is the king of all fruits. Okay, so it is dorian. In Japanese, when you want to say durian, it is dorian. Okay, dorian. Right. So that is the usage of katakana. And it's the same when you use when you want to write your name. If you don't, if you're not Japanese, okay? If you're not Japanese, you don't have a Japanese name, and you want to write your own name, you have to write with katakana. Okay? So this is the usage of katakana, originated from outside Japan. Words originated from outside Japan. Okay, I forgot to add that. Use えーっと for words originated from outside Japan. Okay, words or things. And the third one is the kanji. Okay, uh, okay, kanji. I just wrote it just now, but okay, sakamuri. One, two. Okay, this is kanji. Kanji. Okay, so many Japanese language beginners they hate kanjis. Okay, I don't know about you, but many people who learn Japanese they will start to hate kanji because it's so hard to write. Okay, for example, for mi watashi. So this is how you write it using hiragana watashi, and then you have kanji. Okay, this is watashi for kanji. So you'd say, why do we need to write it in kanji if we can write it in hiragana? Okay, if you know the answer, that's good for you. Okay, but I'm just going to make it simple because in Japanese you have many words that sounds the same. Okay, in Japanese you have many words, okay, that sounds the same. For example, okay, I'm going to give you one example. We have ame and ame. Okay, if you notice the how do you say it, the stress, either it's stress on a or me, ame or ame. Okay, so ame is rain and ame is candy. Okay, so when you're talking, you can differentiate whether it's rain or candy, or if you couldn't differentiate the intonation, you can ask the person yourself. Okay, are you saying about ame the rain or ame the candy? But when it comes to writing, you cannot really you cannot really differentiate. Okay, when it comes to writing, you don't write, okay, this is the stress here or the stress here. No, you don't have that in the writing. So that's why you need to use kanji to differentiate whether it is rain or candy. Of course, you can always differentiate from context. For example, 雨が降っている. 雨が降っている means that ame is falling down. Okay? Rain is, do you say rain is falling down? No. Rain is pouring down. Okay? So something is coming down from the sky. Okay? This is 降っている. 降っていると. So this is 雨. 雨が降っている means that ame is coming down from the sky. So usually candies don't fall down from the sky. So you'll say, oh, he is talking about the rain. But we don't know. Maybe some kind of accident up there and candies are falling down from the sky. Okay, we never know. So in order to differentiate these words that sounds the same in Japanese, the Japanese use kanji. Okay, the Japanese use kanji. So, okay, let me just write 雨 and 雨. Okay, for rain, the kanji is like this. Okay, don't okay, it looks like some rain, right? Like this is the umbrella and you have rain under it. Okay? Okay, that don't okay, I just made a really bad drawing there, but yeah. Okay, so this is ame for rain, and then we have ame for candies. To. Okay, this is ame for candy. And in Japanese language, you have so many words that sounds the same. Okay, sometimes even the same intonation. Okay, I said before that this is how you differentiate the two ame, whether you say it as ame or ame. But in Japanese, they will have the same sound with the same intonation, but with different meaning. Okay, so that's how the language is. Okay, you either understand from context, or usually in Japanese daily conversation, will say which kanji do you use to write it? Okay. For example, do I have seikaku? Okay. So for example, I'll give you a word seikaku. Okay. So you read it seikaku. Okay. And I'll give you a few, just two kanji for this. Seikaku. Okay. This is one seikaku. And then we have another one, seikaku. Okay. So both read as seikaku. The first one, the meaning is precise, and the second one is character, characteristic, or character. What is this? Characteristic? No, character. Okay, as in a person personality, or you can say personality. Okay, so both are pronounced as seikaku. So when you talk seikaku ni yuto, okay, okay, we can understand it means to say it precisely. But maybe the person is talking about personality speaking, okay? Talking about from the point of view of personality. So sometimes in the context when you're speaking in Japanese, you have okay. So this is a recap about hiragana, katakana, and kanji. So that's why you need to learn kanji. There's no shortcut about it. If you want to leave out kanji from your Japanese learning experience, then you will never really master the Japanese language. Okay? So just um, accept it with your whole heart. Okay? Oh, I love kanji. Yes, I need kanji in my life. So that's how you'll get better in Japanese. Okay, so that's a recap. What else? Okay, what should I what should I talk about? と Okay, so let's make a recap about mm, um, noun. Okay, noun sentences. Okay, we have noun sentences. In Japanese, noun sentences will finish with des. Okay, so we have positive. Oh my. こうか. Okay, positive, negative sentences, and then we have past, positive, and then we'll have past negative. Okay. Okay. So for noun sentences, they will end with des. Okay. For example. Okay. For example, if I have to say an example, a woman, 女性ではありません。女性ではありませんと。Okay. I'm not a woman. Or I'm not a man. Okay. Danse de wa arimasen. Okay, there are two ways of saying this. Either you use the more formal de wa arimasen, or you can just say the more simplified version, ja arimasen. Okay, ja arimasen. This works with everything. Okay, woman, man, food, anything. If you use the noun, you can end it with des. That means yes. And dewa arimasen, ja arimasen, to make it negative. Okay, to deny it. Okay, next. Past positive. How to say it in past tense for noun sentences. You just make des into deshita. Okay, deshita. Okay. I can't say I was a woman. I'm still a woman though. Um, it was mine. For example, let's make it was mine. Okay, we have this cute bag. Okay, can I draw a bag? Okay, this cute bag. Okay, so this cute bag, it was mine, but I gave it to my sister, for example. Okay, so we're going to say the bag was mine. Okay, mine is watashi no. Watashi no. Okay, no is possessive. Okay, so watashi no, my thing. Okay, watashi no, which means my. Okay, so watashi no bag is kabang. Kabang. Watashi no kabang deshita. Watashi no kabang deshita. It was my bag. Watashi no kabang deshita. So deshita would mean was. Okay, so it was my bag. Deshita. So, talking about past negative. So it wasn't mine, but it has become mine. Okay, so the bag was someone else, but then they gave it to me, so it's mine now. So it wasn't mine. Watashi no kabang de wa arimasen deshita. Okay, de wa arimasen. Wait, I don't have space. Wait. Uto. Okay, let me just get more space. Okay, de wa arimasen deshita. De wa arimasen deshita to. Or a simplified way to say it, ja arimasen deshita. Ja arimasen deshita to. Okay? So, watashi no kaban de wa arimasen deshita. Okay? It wasn't my bag. Okay? It wasn't my bag. Okay, so this is a recap for noun sentences. Okay, so informal Japanese. Okay, so you'll have to know that in Japanese you have this formal sentence, formal way of speaking, and informal way of speaking, and the bunpo and the grammar is totally different. So we'll go with this the simplest. Okay, simplest is formal. Formal is simple. So if you remember this, des de wa arimasen deshita de wa arimasen deshita, you can communicate. Okay, with simple tense and past tense. Okay, so this is for noun sentences. Now we go for verb sentences. Okay, verb sentences. Okay, and we have positive, negative, positive past, and negative past. Okay, okay, so for verbs in Japanese formal language, okay, using the formal language, all verbs in Japanese will end with mas. Okay, will end with mas. Mas. For example, ikimasu means to go. Okay, ikimasu, which means to go. Tabemasu. Tabemasu, which means to eat. Tabe. And then we have shimasu, which means to do. Okay, so every Japanese verbs, informal, okay, formal will end with mas. This is positive. Okay, so if you want to make it into negative, mas will become masen. Okay, mas will become masen. So ikimasu will be ikimasen. Tabemasu will be tabemasen. Shimasu will be shimasen. Okay, it's as simple as that to make it into negative. And then negative past, sorry, positive past from must, you just have to change it into mashita. Okay, mashita. So I have gone, I went, sorry, I went. Iki mashita. I ate. Tabe mashita. I did. Shimashita. Okay, so mas, masen, mashita. Mashita would be the past tense. And negative past tense, masen deshita. Masen deshita to. Okay, masen deshita. So if you do I didn't go, if you want to say I didn't go, it'll be ikimasen deshita. Okay, ikimasen deshita to. Ikimasen deshita. Sen deshita. Masen deshita. Okay, so this is how simple it is to change the sentences from positive to negative, positive past tense, negative past tense. If it's in the formal way of speaking, then it is as simple as this. Okay, I think it's quite simple. Okay, Japanese become very hard to learn when it comes to um, informal way of speaking. Okay, informal way of speaking is for me it's quite hard. Okay, okay, okay. Next, what else should we do? Okay. In Minna no Nihongo, it comes at a later topic, but I think I can explain about um, the, how do you say that? Cannot and can, okay? Can and cannot. The ability to do something, okay? The ability to do something, can and cannot. So, for usual sentences, verb sentences, you have mas, masen, mashita, masen deshita. So, how do you say I cannot go or I can go? Okay, the usual verb is ikimasu. Okay, ikimasu, which means I go or just go. Okay, in Japanese, you don't really use the subject. Okay, ikimasu will mean go. So, how can you say I can go? Okay, how can you say I can go? Okay, so before we enter this topic, the first thing you need to know about verbs in Japanese is that you have three kinds of verbs in Japanese, okay? Um, let's just take it there. Okay, you have three kinds of verbs in Japanese. You have V1, V2, and V3. Okay, I cannot really do. Okay, V1, V2, and V3. Okay, simplest thing, let's start with the simplest part. V3 only have two verbs in V3, which is kimas, which means come, kimas, and shimas, which means do. Okay, do, come. And for V2, okay, V2, you have two dokcho. Sorry, I cannot find the word in English. Two two characteristic, okay. Two characteristics on how to know V2. The first one is it ends with the column, the sound from column E, okay, before mas, before mas. Okay, so what does this mean? It means, okay, I said that all verbs in Japanese ends with the mas, okay, informal speech. So if the sound before mas comes from the column E, then it belongs to V2. For example, okay, in E we have E, K, Ge, Se, Ze, Te, De, Ne, He, Be, Pe, Me, Re. Okay? So, if the verb before the sound mas ends with any sounds from this column, okay? Eke, Gese, Zete, Dene, Hebe, Pe, Mere, then it belongs to the V2 group. Okay, I'll give you some examples. For example, tabemasu. Okay, the verb for eating, to eat is tabemasu. So before the mas sound is be, and be is a sound from the column e. Wait, wait, my column, we need an end there. Okay. Okay, so this tabemasu belongs to the group V2. Another one. Okay. Demasu. Okay, I'm using kanji here, but it's demasu. So before the mas sound, it ends with de, and de belongs to the sound belongs to the column e. So this is V2. Okay, so this is the first characteristic. Okay, so this is the first one. The second one, yui. To. So the second one is having only one sound before mas. Okay. Okay. And to for example, okay. For example, we have the verb mimas, mimas, and the verb imas. Okay, and the verb imas. Okay, mimas means to look or to watch. Okay, and imas mean to be. Okay, I'm here. Be is that is was, no, was is past tense. Is am are. Okay, to be. So mimas means to look and imas means to be. And before this the masu sound, there's only one sound before it, okay? So imas, mimas, and everything that only have one sound before mas belongs to the V2 group. Okay? So this is V2. And other than that would belong to V1. Okay? Other than V3 and V2, it would all belong to V1. Of course, we have some um, exceptions. Yes, we have some exceptions. Not every verb will follow this rule. Okay, the rules here, but most of it will follow the same rule. Okay, so V2, it ends with the sound from column E before mas and having only one sound before mas. Okay, and for V1, usually everything that is not included in V3 and V2 will belong to V1, but there is one characteristic that you can follow. Okay, for V1, it ends with the sound from column E, sorry, column E, okay, before mas. Okay, so everything that ends with the sound I, ki, gi, shi, ji, ti, no ti, sorry. I, ki, gi, si, shi. Oh, okay, you know what I mean. Okay, anything that ends, the sound before mas is from the column E. Okay, it belongs to V1. So this is how you differentiate between V1, V2, and V3. Okay, so I'll just leave one or two examples. Okay, for example, this is ikimasu. And then another one is kirimasu, which means to cut. Okay, so ki and ri, this ki and ri both comes from the column E. The sound comes from the column E, okay? So, I and kirimasu. Okay, too small. Kirimasu. And for V2, you just have to remember tabemasu, okay? To eat. Tabemasu. And then for V3, only these two. Kimasu and shimasu, okay? To come and to do. Okay, now that we know which verbs belong to which verbs, which group verb, which group, okay? Now we can go to how to say can and cannot in Japanese, okay? So let's say from V1 we have ikimasu. Okay, ikimasu, which means go. Ikimasu. So how do you change this to can and cannot? Can, cannot. Okay, you change this sound key to the sound from the column E. So ikimasu means go. Ikemasu would mean can go. Okay, so this is only for V1 group. Okay, so ikimasu, because it ends from the column E, or sound from column E, you just change it to the sound for the same sound. Okay, so if it's ki, it becomes ke. If it's ri, it becomes re. If it's gi, then it's ge. Okay, you know the drill. Okay, so because this is ki, to say you can go, ikimasu will become ikemasu. Okay? And to make it into cannot, you just change the must to masen. So, ikemasen. I can't go. Ikemasen. Okay? Oh, we don't know kanji. Can you use hiragana? Sorry, thank you. Um, I'll try to put what do you say this? Hiragana, the ruby, the readings, okay? On top of the kanji whenever I realize, okay? Uh, so I'll try to use to put hiragana whenever possible, okay? Thank you for the comments. Okay, so next, for the second verb, it is kirimasu. Okay, I'll put hiragana on top of this. Kirimasu. Okay, so to make it into kirimasu means cut. Okay, cut. Okay, you cut some cabbages or you cut some potatoes. Okay, you use the verb kirimasu. Okay, so to make it to can cut, I can cut a carrot, for example. Okay, so you change this ri to the same sound from the column e. So ri will become re. Okay, so it will read kiremasu. To make it into cannot cut. I can't cut it. it will become kiremasen. Okay, kiremasen. Mm. It's as simple as that. Okay, yui. Okay, so what else? What else do you use in V1? Okay, go, cut. I know this one. Yasumimasu. Okay, to rest or to take a day off. Okay, yasumimasu. Yasumimasu. Okay, the hiragana is yasu. Yasumimasu to me it means to rest or take a day off. Okay, for example, you have to go to work or you have to go to class, but you're not feeling so well, so you yasumimasu. Okay, I rest. Yasumimasu. Okay, when you want to say I can rest, yasumemasu. Okay, so this before mas, the mi sound, you change it to the same sound from the um, air column. So me, it becomes yasumemasu. Yasumemasu. And if you're like me, you work at a Japanese company and you can't really rest all you all you want. Okay, it's very hard to rest here. You say yasumemasen. I cannot take a day off. Yasumemasen. Yasumemasen to. Okay, so this is how you say can and cannot for V1. Okay, for verbs that belong to the V1 group. Okay, next. We're going for V2. Okay, if you have any questions, you can feel free to write comments. Okay, I'll try to look. Okay, so next for V2, can and cannot for V2. Okay, so V2, just a recap, it's the verb that ends with the sound e before mas. Okay, the sound e before masu. No, e should be. Okay, sound e before masu. For example, can, cannot. Okay, the verb 食べます. 食べます. Okay, which means eat. Okay, which means to eat. How can you change the verb from the group V2 to can and cannot? Because if you, for V1, you change this, the sound before must to air sounds, right? But for V2, it is originally air sound before mas. So what you need to do is you add rare after the air sounds. Okay? You add the sound rare after the air sound. So what it will become is tabemas will be taberaremasu. Okay? Tabemas will be taberaremasu. This rare, I'll just make it into red. Okay? Taberaremasu, which means can eat. Watashi wa taberaremasu. I can eat. Okay? So that is taberaremasu. And it's just the same if you want to make it into negative. I cannot eat it. The mas will become masen. Taberaremasen. Taberaremasen to. Masen. Okay, so taberaremasen. Not there. Sorry, this one. Okay, taberaremasen. Okay, next. Another verb from the V2 group is demas. Demasu, which means to go out. Demasu. De, okay, means go out. So you just add rare. To say that you can't go out, de rare mas. Sorry, to say you can go out. Okay, de rare mas. To say you can't go out because there's a typhoon, for example, there's a typhoon out there, you say derare masen. Okay, derare masento. Okay, so you just add rare to make it to say that you can, and make it masen to say that you can't. Okay, it's as simple as that. What else? Another verb from V2. Tabemas, demas. Oh yes, imas. Okay, imas, which means to be. Imasu. Imasu. Okay. For example, I am at the office. I am in the office. Watashi wa ofisu ni imasu. Watashi wa ofisu ni imasu. Okay, I'm at the office. So, imasu, when you say that I cannot be, okay, I I can be here. Okay, I can be here, for example. Iraremasu. Iraremasu. Okay, to say that you can't be at the office because you should be somewhere else. Okay, iraremasen. Iraremasen. Okay, so this is, it's not on screen, really? It, but I think it's on the screen. I- Is it dark? Is it dark? Okay, in hidden below, really? Imas, iraremasu, iraremasen. Ho ho. Wait, let me just. Can you see the star? Okay, there's some lag there. Yeah, okay, that's good. Yes, okay. Okay. Okay, so this is the three verbs example for V2. Okay? So it's just the same. If you know that the verb is from V2, which means that it ends with the sound e before mas, or it just has one sound before mas, then you can use this rule. Okay? So it'll go with any verbs. Okay? So the last one is V3. Okay? For V3. Yuisha. Okay? V3. And we only have two verbs in V3. Okay, we only have two verbs in V3. The first one is kimas, which means to come. Okay, kimas, to come. And shimasu, which means to do. Okay, and we have this can and cannot. Okay, so for V3, you just have to remember because they don't have any rules. You just have to remember, okay? So to say that you can come, I can come today, for example. 今日来られます. Okay? Use the same kanji and then you put rare there, mas. But the reading, it becomes ko. Okay? 来られます. 来られます. And then For cannot, you just change the must to masen. It's that simple. Koraremasen. Okay, I can't come today. Okay, koraremasen. I can't come today. He can't come today. 彼は今日来られません. Right. And then for shimas, which means do, okay, which means do, it changes, okay? Shimas, when you say you can do something, it becomes dekimasu, okay? It becomes dekimasu, which means this verb itself means you can do something, okay? So shimasu means to do. When you say you can do something, you say dekimasu. And if you cannot do something, you say dekimasen. Okay, dekimasen. Hai. Okay, so that's how you say can and cannot. Okay, in Japanese. Okay, I've covered V1, V2, V3. Okay, and all the verbs in Japanese will fall into either these categories. If it's not V1 and V2, then it's V3. If it's not V3 and V2, then it's V1. Okay, so now any verbs that come to your mind can be changed, okay, into can or cannot. Okay, let's try one verb. Okay, one verb, to think. Okay, to think. 考える. It's not a kangaroo, okay? 考える, which means to think, okay? And to say, I can think, okay? Or I can't think. I can think because this 考える, sorry, not ru, sorry. This is informal. Okay, 考えます. Oh, 考えます. Okay, 考えます. Okay, so the sound before mas is e. So this is V2. And when it is V2, to say that you can do something, you add rare before mas. So it will become 考えられます. Okay, 考えられます. 考えられます. I can think. Okay, if you want to say I can't think, okay, I can't think of it. 考えられません. 考えられません. Okay, I can't think of anything, for example. 何も考えられません. 何も考えられません. I cannot think of anything. Okay. And the next one. Okay, to choose. Okay, it is 選びます. 選びます. Okay, I know the kanji is crazy, but yeah. 選びます. Okay, 選びます means to choose. Okay, so B, it is the sound from the column E. Okay, so this is V1. Okay, and if the verb is V1, to change it into can and can't, okay, this B will have to change to the same sound from the column E, so it will become be. Okay, so to say that you can choose, 選べます. 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 And if you want to say I can't choose, 選べません. Okay, 選べません. 選べませんよ. Okay? メニューが多すぎて選べません。メニューが多すぎて選べません。The menu is too many. Okay, there's too many on the menu that I can't choose. 選べませんと。Okay, so I think that's all it'll be for today. I did a recap on hiragana, katakana, and kanji, and then a recap on how to say the sentences, noun sentences, and verb sentences in simple tense and in past tense, negative and positive. And then I explain how to change the verbs, okay? The V1, V2, V3 to can and cannot, okay? Can and can't and can't, okay? Okay. Okay, so that's all I think for today. Thank you for those who have asked questions and have joined in the live. Okay, I think I'll see you maybe next week. Yes, thank you very much.